fat, fucked in the bacon, fat, all tastes like bacon, fat, and it all tastes like bacon, in the bacon, fucked in the bacon, fat, fucked in the bacon, fat, all tastes like bacon, and then you put all tastes like bacon, the mince.
Why are you putting mince?
Because then you've got the girth. That's what you're not getting. That's what you're not getting, Sam. This is what I mean. You've got the That's what you're not getting. That's what you're not getting, Sam. This is what I mean.
Hello. How are we all doing? How are we doing, my beautiful queechlings? I don't know what's wrong with the heist and duel and shit. It's just not working. I'm gonna have to look into it a bit more. Dilliran in the Discord has offered to help me with it, so that's good news, because I clearly don't know what I'm doing. But I fixed Hug Me though, so you know, baby steps. Fucking hell. Oh my god. Holy shit. I'm trying my best, aren't I? Do you know what I mean? There we go. There we go. Right, who've we got in the chat? So, I'm multi-streaming today for the first time. So, this is also streaming live on YouTube. Mainly, just because YouTube will save the video on my YouTube channel. So, I won't have to... It means I don't have to, like, fucking download the video from Twitch and then save it up to YouTube. It'll just be there. It'll just be there. Because, obviously, the VODs, I've noticed, on Twitch don't last forever. And you can't just fully highlight something and just leave it there now. You only have a certain allowance of space. So we're multi-streaming. But yeah, I will fix the heist and the duel and the boss fight and the free for all and shit. I'll fix them all. But you know, I'll just have to hit Dilliran up because he's obviously going to be able to fix it. I can't. Right, who've we got in the chat? We've got Gore Crusher. We've got Mortal Kombat. We've got Jeski's... Oh, I can't... Oh, it doesn't save the whole chat, does it? Right, hang on. Can I just see who's in... Oh, I can. I can see it through this. Amazing. Let me see. There we are. Lovely. We've got Chaka, we've got Ash, we've got Eggy, we've got Dilliran. Yeah, Dilliran, you're gonna have to help me out at some point. I can't figure it out. We'll have to talk about it on Discord. I told you it wouldn't work. I knew it wouldn't. Who else we got? We got Nosset, Mortal Kombat. Why can't I just see everyone?
What do you mean?
Oh, there we are. Right. There we go, viewers. Awesome. Right, I'm still figuring shit out, you know. Gore Crusher, Heavy Metal Nurse, Mortal Kombat, Martin, Fakeback, Dilliran, Eno, Leeds J, Nosser, Eggy, Chris, Keeping. How you doing, Chris? Black Moon, Jenkins, Jesse's Fella, Raptor Wash, Shadow, Ash, Chaka, Helly, and Atwell. Massive love. Right, we are gonna give this little geezer away today. This good boy right here. The Space Wolf that we built and painted live on stream. We're gonna give him away to a subscriber tonight. Well, that's gonna be at 7:30. So in the meantime, we're going to play marbles for 40 minutes. So all you have to do, if you on Twitch, in the Twitch chat, type !play. !play, everyone. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Get in, get in, get in. This is just for fun. Just for fun. We're not giving the good boy away until 7:30. I better eat me scrambled eggs, haven't I? Got some scrambled eggs here that I've not eaten. Go, Crusher. Slam King, you still up to do some Queech narration for my band? Yeah, of course I will. Of course I fucking will. Gotta fill myself full of scrambled eggs first, though. You know what I mean? Good for your hair. Have we got any more? !play. How many have we got? We got 20 people watching. We got 17 balls. Get your balls out and stick them on my screen. Well, don't stick them on my screen. Stick them on your own screen. I've not got enough wipes. Any more for any more? Do you know what? Fuck it, I'll join as well. Do it for Yorkshire! For Yorkshire! I'm gonna join. Fake bag. Jay, you're looking a bit like your stage self today. Tank top and long hair. Just need makeup. I've just had a bath. That's why. That's why I've got the wet hair look. I'm in wet hair mode. Right, let's go. Let's go. Sorry, I am eating my dinner while we're doing this. Right, where we at? I'll crown myself. My beautiful queechlings. Right, here we go. Who's in the lead? I don't even know. I can't even tell. Oh, Chaka. Chaka, what's going on with your ball, man? You're always in the lead. How are you always winning? You're the only person who's won twice. It's mental. Sorry, guys. I know it's a little bit rude me eating these eggs while we're streaming, but I'm starving. I've not eaten anything all day. Who's in the lead now? Chaka still. Chaka, something's going on here. Alive. Something's going on with your ball. I'm not having this. Whoa! Who just went flying then? Someone just went out then, didn't they? Surely. Or did they not? Can't tell. Right, I'm nearly finished with my eggs now. Alright, there we go. There we go. There we go. Right. Egg is gone. Oh, piss and shit. Oh, Gore Crusher. Byron, you won. Hell yeah. You didn't win the Space Marine or anything, but just for fun, innit? Nurse in second, Chaka third, Ellie fourth. Who's going to take fifth? Jenkins fifth. Who's sixth? Everyone's dropping like flies here. Me sixth. Oh, I don't know about that. I think that's a bit rigged, that. Leeds J seventh. Eggy 8th. Jesky 9th. Right, let's do another one. Random track. Let's go. It's rigged that Jacker always wins. Did you even win? Go crush one. Exclamation mark play. Get that in the chat. Twitch chat. Exclamation mark play. How many we got? We got 21 people watching. We got 16 balls. We get any more balls? 17 balls. I do enjoy saying balls. Ash with the gift sub to Shadow. Massive love, Ash. Big love, big love. Cheers, Ash. Appreciate you. Fake bag, your commentary on these marble runs make me all the more excited for the wrestling shenanigans. Oh yeah, I can't wait for that. It's gonna be so sick. We got 18 balls. Technically, that's 9 sets of Tezzers. We got 21 people watching. We got another two Tezzers, making even 20. That's only 1 set of Tezzers, really. Do you know what I mean? Right, I've got to press play. Let's go. Five seconds, people. Oh, shit. Right, let's go. Let's see how long it takes Jacker to get into the lead on this one. It's rigged, that. Something's going on. I think Miss Jacker's like hacked the marbles game. Terror Troopers in the lead. Let's go. Cannonball. Oh, going down the shitter. Oh, you just got gypped there. That nah, gone. Oh, hang on. The boy's in the lead. The boy's in the lead. Come on. Oh, come on. That's not fair. That doesn't count. Terror Troopers in the lead. Oh, Jacker and a magical ball has suddenly found her way to the front again. Into the cheese plate. Whoa. Down the U-bend. Oh, Terror Trooper might take it. Terror Trooper. Oh, cannonball. Terror Trooper's got it. Terror Trooper number 1. Jacker 2. Who's going to take third? Me in third. I feel like I got robbed there, really, if I'm being honest. Got robbed. Jenkins 4th. Heli 5th. Black Moon 6th. Who's taking 7th? Martin 7th. Wash is 8th. Can Heavy Metal Nurse finish? Yeah, 9th. Everybody else went to shit. Let's do another one. Let's try and get as many games in as we can. We've got 28 minutes before the big one. Your big one. Oh, God. This track reminds me of that squid that Paul Quichi banged on fucking Baldur's Gate 3. Give me PTSD. Exclamation mark play in the Twitch chat. Let's go. If you're watching over on YouTube, I can see that we've got a couple of viewers on YouTube. If you want to join in on this game, come on over to the Twitch channel and you can get your own ball on the screen. Right, we got 19. We got 20. We got an even 20. Even 20 balls. 10 sets of Tezzers. 10 sets of Tezzers. Let's go with that. Start.
Who's this midnight pleaser?
The Bacardi Breezer. Oh, hang on. All right, let's go. Oh, what's this? Oh, I don't know about this. Oh, Ash. Ash in the lead. Ash in the lead going down fucking the squid's tentacles. Don't kiss him. You know, it makes weird noises when you do that. We all learn. Oh, somebody. Who's that in the lead? Oh, Door Crusher in the lead again. With his speedy Tezzers. Oh, you're flying ahead here. Flying ahead here. Oh, shafted you. You've been shafted. Totally shafted there. Look at that. That's rough, that. That's rough, that Gore Crusher. Don't cry about it, though, because you won the first one, so. Swings and roundabouts, isn't it? Who's that? Ash. Ash in the lead. Flying through. Oh. 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 Going into the washing machine. Bosh. I think you've taken this. Oh, no, there's quite a bit left, isn't there? You might get shit in your mouth here, though. Yeah, yeah. Brutal, brutal. You got hit by the Doug trio. Oh, shit. Oh, it's a roulette thing, isn't it? I didn't even see that. I thought you were going flying then. Is anybody else in there yet? Oh, people are coming in now. Whoa, what? What the fuck? How did you win that? I didn't even see you go. That's mental. How the fuck did that happen? Gore Crusher first. Ash second. Martin third. Who's taking fourth? Heli fourth. Eggy fifth. Leeds J sixth. Fake back seventh. Chaka's out.
Gale's cursed me. Fucking asshole.
I'm eighth. Shadow ninth. Terror Trooper taking 10th. Oh, he's not taking it. Who was it? Terror Trooper 10th, and I'm assuming not at 11th. Bloody hell, we did have a lot of Tezzers in this one, didn't we? All right, all right. Chaka and Wash were the only ones who didn't finish. Let's go again. It's always sad when your Tezzers don't finish. Enemy at the gates. This one's got... Oh, this one looks cool. It looks like something out of fucking Elden Ring. Let's go. Exclamation mark play. Let's see if we can get even more Tezzers on the balls. Tezzers on the balls? Mouth was getting too excited then. All this Tezza talk. Exclamation mark play in the Twitch chat. See how many we can get. We've got 24 people watching. Let's see if we can break 20 Tezzers again. We've got 18 so far. Give us another set of Tezzers. Another 2. There's a nice round number for a nice round set of Tezzers. We're saying Tezzers a lot tonight. balls, mimosa. Jason mimosa. With his mimosa and his samosa. 19, can we get one more ball? Can we get one more ball? Give us 20. Give us 20 balls. Come on. Just one more ball. That's all I'm asking. Right, we're gonna have to go. We're gonna have to go with 19. Oh, LD coming in clutch. Xeno Wolf, 21. We broke 20 balls. Amazing. 21 balls. Boom. Amazing. Right, let's go. Let's go. 21 Tezzers. Someone's got 3 Tezzers then. If we're going by by actual Tezzers. Right, this level looks cool. I like the look of this level. Whoa! Actual gates. And a drawbridge. Yo, this is the best level ever. Martin's in the lead. Martin's in the lead. Go on, Martin. Nosset's right behind him. Oh. Jeski's fella's out. Martin's still in the lead. Chaka's coming up right behind. Heavy Metal Nurse. Heavy Metal Nurse has just taken over. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. This level's sick. Oh, it might fuck you up though, that. I reckon a few of us will go out there. Ooh, Lady Dragon's out. Mortal Kombat's out. Losing people on this one. Heavy Metal Nurse right in the lead. Into the washing machine. Chaka's in the lead again. Going through the Doug trio, the Diglets. Chaka's won it. Chaka's won it. Chaka wins. Chaka in first place. Fake Bark second. Atwell third. Heavy Metal Nurse fourth. Raptor Wash fifth. Me sixth. Terror Trooper seventh. Black Moon eighth. Leeds J ninth. Who's taking 10th? Can Xeno Wolf take 10th? He's in 10th place at the moment. Martin's taken over. Xeno Wolf's took it back. Xeno Wolf takes 10th place. Such a tune, this. Outrageous tune. There we go. Chaka wins again. How many wins have you got? How many like, does it not give you like your overall record? That's bullshit. It should give you your overall record. Why doesn't it save it? It only saves your record for this. Right, let's go again. Oh, it probably does if you click a name in the list of people. Right, okay. This is my favorite out of this entire like Warhammer 40k music playlist. This is easily my favorite one. Just because the hook, this bit, is so sick. It's wild good. Right, we got 19. We got 19. Can we break 20 again? Let's see if we can break 20. We got 28 people watching. Let's see if we've got 20 on. 20 balls. 21. Can we break 21? Can we get 22? That'd be the highest we've got all night. Let's get 22. Yes, 22. There we go. There we go. 11 sets of testicles. That's what that would be if we're using actual maps, like proper maps. You know what I mean? All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We're in. Oh, Chaka's in the lead again. This is bollocks, this Chaka. I don't know what's going on here. Have you done something to your ball? Oh, straight into the danglers. Straight into the danglers. Jeski's fella's out again. Xenowolf's in the lead. Into the second set of dusty danglers. They're brutal, then, the danglers. Right, Wash is in the lead. No, Xenowolf's in the lead.
Never let your dingle dangle dangle in the dust.
Well, that's what Grandma always used to say, didn't she? What's that ghost ball in front? Is that like the best ball ever or something that's ever ran this track? Gore Crusher's out. Fake Bark's out. Ash is out. Xenowolf. Oh, Xenowolf is out as well. Raptor Wash, slow and steady, wins the race. How many danglers is there? Nosser, you just flew into the danglers then. That's wild. Oh, come on. Come on, the boys ahead. Come on.
Take your hat off, boy. That's a downfield.
Come on. Come on. I have been uncrowned.
Crown for king.
I have been recrowned. My hair is slightly damp. So this crown will have to go on the washing line. Black Moon's out, Helly's out, Lady Dragon's out. Heavy Metal Nurse wins. Creeped in there. Wash comes in second, not at third. Mortal Kombat's out. Shadow fourth, Jenkins fifth, me sixth, Chaka seventh. Martin 8th. Terror Trooper 9th. Eggy 10th. There we go. We've still got a couple more to finish. Slightly damp. A sad crown of dampness. All right. What time are we on? Oh, we got 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Right, so can you click on people and see how? Oh no, you can't. Don't let me click on people. Yeah. Right, let's do another one. See if we can get 23. Let's see if we can get 23 balls. We've got 26 people watching. See if we can get 23 balls. Exclamation mark play. Come on. 16 balls. 17. 19 balls. 20 balls. 21 balls. Come on. Give us another 2 balls. Another 2. One more full set of Tezzers. We got 22. Can we get one more ball? And then we'll have that'll be the highest that we've had tonight. 23 balls. Necrob coming in with the 23rd ball. That's a 3-ball sack in there somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Let's go. How you doing, Necrob? All right, here we go. Just for fun, though, these ones. We got 13 minutes, and then we'll do the big one. Oh, what's this? The old trumpet, this one, isn't it? Big old trumpet. Getting flushed down the toilet, down the shitter. Has anyone even gone down it yet? Has anyone even got down? Someone has. I just see. Yeah, if you've. Yeah, Jenkins in the lead. Someone's coming up quick behind though. Who's that? Is that Eggy? Gotta be Eggy. Eggy's in second. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Sir. You've contracted
Raids! Yo! Lady Dragon. LD. Giving us raids. You're right, Lady Dragon. Who've we got in the lead now? Eggy's in the lead. Eggy's in the lead. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Eggy, you might take this here, you know. You might take this. Oh, hang on, here they come. This might balls. Oh, no. Oh, fucking nailed it there. Eggy, in first. JSMD. Second, Martin third, Xenowolf fourth, Fake Bag fifth. Wash sixth, Terror Trooper seventh, Necrob eighth, Knots at ninth, and Atwell 10th. Everyone finished that. Nobody got knocked out. Banging. Right, let's do another. Excuse me.
Pardon my French. We do beg your pardon, but we are in your garden.
Right, exclamation mark play. We got 30 people watching. Let's see if we can get 24 balls this time. We had 23 last time. Let's get 24 this time. Let's go. Exclamation mark play in the chat. Let's go. Let's see if we can do it. 24. 24. We got 22. Give us another set of Tezzers. One full set of human testicles. They don't have to be human. I think you can throw any Tezzer down this track, if I'm being brutally honest. Can we get another 2? We had 23 last time. Exclamation mark play in the chat. Owen, I don't know if I'm in or not. Type it again then. See what happens. Type it again. If it doesn't work, then you're already in. We got 23. Can we get one more Tezzer? One more ball. One more marble. One more marble. How are you all enjoying the new commands in the chat? The ones that actually work. Right, let's go. We'll go with 23. With an odd number of balls. 9 minutes until the big one. Where we're giving away our little dog boy. Didn't we just do this one, but it was like red and black. JSMD in the lead.
I'm sorry, sir. You've contracted
Raids! We've contracted raids! You alright, Shadow? Oh, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Oh, the boy's in the lead. Come on, give me a win. Let me have a win. Just one win. Just one little win, that's all I'm asking for. Oh, oh. Oh, oh, no, oh, come on. That's bollocks, that. That's brutal, that. I got buggered by the studs on someone's battle jacket. Savage. Oh, it's sad that. It's sad that. Getting done by someone's fucking leather jacket studs. Here we go. Oh, I think you're stuck there. No. Oh, that's brutal. Why is it not going to the person who's actually first? Mortal Kombat for the win. Mortal Kombat's coming for the win. Oh, Mortal Kombat in first. Who's going to take second place? What was that then? Someone just bounced off. Oh, Black Moon, brutal. Black Moon's out. Helly's out. Oh, everyone's bouncing off. LD's out. Fake Back's out. Jenkins out. Notter's out. Necrop's out. Nurse is out. Atwell's out. Eggy's out. Xenowolf's out. Terror Trooper's out. Wash is out. Jesky's fella's out. Martin's out. And Gore Crush is out. Oh, that was brutal at the end. That's sad. That's sad. That's sad. That's not fair. That. Right. We got 6 minutes. I reckon we can squeeze one more in. One more in. Right, come on. This is the last one that's just for fun. Exclamation mark play. Type it in the chat. Let's do it. Let's do it. Terror Trooper. Jason's like Oprah. You're out. And you're out. You get a testicle. And you get a testicle. How many we got? We got 23. We got 29 people watching. Can we break 23? Can we get 24? Yeah! 24! 24! Right, this is the last one before we do the serious one. Amazing. Amazing. We did it. We did it. 24. There we go. Right, let's go. This is the last one that's for fun. 25, baby. 25. Let's go. Why did it start me at the back? That's not fair, is it? See, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. And it's going to take everyone about 20 years to go down this U-bend as well. Come on. Has anyone got down it yet? Yeah. There we go. Nosset's in the lead. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
What's that bumhole? Open this bumhole now. Open it immediately.
Crown for king. Take your hat off, boy. That's a dollar bill.
I've been decrowned.
Playing crown chess in the chat.
Queechy. Queechy.
Nosset's been ahead for this entire run, I think. Over the little chocolate buttons. Oh, this might fuck you up, though. Yeah. Buggered you. Buggered you.
Hi, I'm Paul Queechy, and these are my erotic pasties. The most erotic of all the pasties.
Oh, into another fucking U-bend. Going all the way down into all the shitters. Oh, Wash, that's brutal. Oh my god. Just circling the rim. Oh, Wash. That's sad, that. I'm gutted for you. Owen's in the lead. Shadow's right behind him. Ooh, can Shadow take it? Can Shadow take it? Oh, Shadow with the win right at the last bit. Oh my god. Oh my god. Shadow in first, Owen second. Pipped you right to the post there. Gore Crusher third, me fourth, Nurse fifth, Atwell sixth, Jenkins seventh, Jesky's fella eighth, Nos at ninth, Fake Back 10th. pipped right to the post there. Right. I think this is the one, isn't it? That worked. How do I do that now? I don't know how to do this now. Hang on 1 second. Give me 1 second. How do I edit? How do I? Hey, little Mortal Kombat, how you doing? Ah ha 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 ha! Right, that's how I do it. Right, okay, so just for this next one, the chat on Twitch is subscribers only mode. Just for this next one, cause we're gonna do the marble race for this little Space Marine that we painted and built on stream. So you gotta be a subscriber if you want to be in for a chance to win this. You have to be. 1 second. Bear with me 1 minute. Okay, so gotta be a subscriber. We're gonna do it right now. You've gotta be a subscriber if you want to be in for a chance of winning this. Okay, so if you want to win this and you're not subscribed, get subscribed now and you'll be in for a chance. Okay, we're gonna pick a random track. Random track. What's this? I can't join this as well. If you have won before, you are absolutely welcome to enter still. But if you win and you've already won before, you'll have to gift it to a subscriber who hasn't won it. That's the rules. Because you can only win once, but you can enter every time. And if you win again, like Chaka won twice. So the second time she won, she gifted it to Leeds J. So Leeds J's got one. So if Leeds J was to win this one, he would have to gift it to another subscriber. I could have probably explained that a little bit clearer, but you know, where's the fun in that? How many have we got? We've got 26. Have we got any more? Did we get any more? Exclamation mark play. The winner of this wins the Space Marine. Lady Dragon. Jack is going to be gifting all of us the amount she wins. That's quick maths, quick testicle maths, that, Eggy. It is 13 whole sets of testicles. Right. Okay, I think we're going to press play. This is it. This is it. I'm going to press start. So if you're a subscriber, you're watching, and you haven't entered, get exclamation mark play in there. Quick. You've got 5 seconds. Because here we go. This is it. This is the one. This is the one. Let's go. Who's gonna win? Who's winning the good boy, the dog boy? Here we go, here we go, here we go. Mega 99 in the lead. Mega 99 in the lead. Little Mortal Kombat following up very, very closely. Necrob in third. Jenkins in fourth. JSMD's in the lead. JSMD's took the lead. Little Mortal Kombat's in the lead now, actually. Oh, you're fighting for this, aren't you? Oh, it's this one. It's this one. I forgot about this one. Oh my god. 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 JSMD's nearly at the end. That was some sweet portal work there, JSMD. Oh, can you make it? Oh, brutal. Brutal. Ah, Jenkins! Jenkins has won. Jenkins, you are the winner of our little dog boy. Congratulations to Jenkins. That is brutal, that level. That level's brutal. Yo, Dwarf Grinder with the sub. Massive love. Massive love. Thanks a lot, Dwarf Grinder. I appreciate you. Huge love. Jenkins is our winner of our little Space Wolf Space Marine. So, Jenkins, if you want to message me a private message on Discord, and I'll get your address and your details, and then I'll get this little geezer packed up and sent over to you. Congratulations to Jenkins. There we go. Winner, Jenkins. Little Space Wolf Space Marine. On its way to you. So don't forget to message me in the Discord, Jenkins, so I can get your details, so we can get him sent over to you. Can you write on Insta? You don't have Discord? Yes, you can write me on Insta. Just let me know it's you if you haven't got if your username's different. Congratulations, Jenkins. All right. Let's change this back. Turn off subscribers only mode. There we go. Let's remember to do that. Right, okay. So what do we need to do? We need to go to this one, don't we? We need to do this. There we go. There we are. Hello, everybody. All right. Calm down, Custodies. Bloody hell. All right. It's book stream time. It's time to read a book. So we finished Horus Rising about 2 weeks ago, I think. Then obviously I was pretty ill last week, so I weren't really up for reading a book. But I asked you guys at the end of the last book which book you want me to read next. You want me to continue with the story, or should we read something else? And you guys wanted me to continue with the story. So here we are. False Gods by Graham McNeill. That's what we're going to be starting tonight. I've got my little place marker for my book. Can't remember what they're called. Got that. Courtesy of the DNA Lounge in San Francisco. So we're going to read False Gods, which is book 2 of the Horus Heresy, written by Graham McNeill. So do you guys remember what happened at the end of the last one? You guys remember? So what happened was a bookmark. There we go, fake bag. Yeah, I couldn't remember what it is. Yeah, so basically they came into contact with a human race called the Interrex, and they went to one of their Horus, and his entourage went to one of their outpost planets to parley with them, basically. And in a conversation with one of their soldiers, Loken found out that the only reason they were holding back, because they actually wanted to be part of, maybe not part of the Imperium, but part of humanity. They wanted to stand shoulder to shoulder with the Imperium, with the rest of humanity. But they were worried about something called chaos. And Loken had no idea what he was talking about. And then this soldier realized that they have no idea what chaos is. And, you know, we should join up. And then just as that happens, all hell breaks loose. And the museum of, like, warfare, basically, where all these ancient weapons and items of war were kept, has been set on fire. And something's been stolen. A weapon. And obviously the Interrex think it's Horus and the Space Marines of the Imperium that have stole it. But they're saying they haven't. So all hell breaks loose. There's loads of fighting. People are getting killed left, right, and centre. Horus is, like, desperately trying to, like, stop this from happening. Saying, like, what? Like, we haven't done this. We haven't done this. Like, and then it just gets to the point where his Space Marines, his sons are dying. His Space Marines are dying. So then he just starts opening a can, basically. He opens a can of whoop-ass and just starts killing all these Interrex. Even though he didn't want to. He wanted peace with them. And then Abaddon and the rest of the newly renamed Sons of Horus, Space Marine Legion, come down and just start annihilating everything. And then after that, we find out that somebody did steal a weapon. They stole the Anatheme, which was, if you remember, it was a weapon that the Interrex couldn't explain how it works, but it's effectively a cursed blade. And once this weapon is given a target, it will kill that target. It's a curse. It's like a cursed blade, effectively. So we found out that somebody did steal it, and it was Erebus, the Word Bearers Legion, someone who Horus trusted or trusts, but he secretly stole it, and he's been hiding it. In the last time we saw him, he was hiding it in the bowels of the Vengeful Spirit, which is Horus's battleship, basically. That's where we're up to. That's it. Oh, are you? Look, Steven Seagal. He's just over there. He's just over there on the desk over there, isn't he? Keeping an eye on everything, making sure there's no pigeons out looking for work. So, here we go. We just get into it. Just pick up where we left off. Okay, so make sure the music isn't too loud. Make sure my microphone's there. And then let's get comfy. Steven Seagal. Yeah, he's alright. Is that too loud? Okay. I think we're good. A little too loud. It's a little too loud, is it? Right. 1 minute. How's that? Is that loud enough or too quiet?
A crown for a king.
Crown for a king. I've been crowned.
That's good, yeah? Okay.
Lovely stuff.
Shadow. Slam King. I might ask my dad for a Loki shirt for my birthday. Oh, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. I know Loki would be gassed. If you bought his shirt, he'd be well happy. He'd be proper happy. If you do get one for your birthday, Shadow, let me know. Because like Loki will be proper chuffed with that. Yes, it did, Gore Crusher. I've just not put it up yet. I need to rearrange everything on this wall behind me. So I'm waiting to put it up. But it is here. But yeah, you'll be able to see it soon. Once I start rearranging this back wall, you'll see it. If you want to know where I get said Loki shirt and other delightful wearable and non-wearable things, hoof this link. Yeah, there it is. There's the link to the merch store. plenty of cool shit on there. Do you know what I need to get? I need to get one of them posters. One of the posters that I made. Because it's proper sick. I made a wall flag version of it as well. I don't know which one to get. I think I might get the poster. Because the poster I can put in a frame. Then I can have that on the wall behind me as well. Right, okay. Right, let's go. False Gods by Graham McNeill. Find where we're at. Part 1. Ooh! Are we ready? Are we all ready? Because I'm ready. Well, I'm gonna burp first. Let me burp first before we get into it. Oh. Pardon my French. Part 1. The Betrayer. I was there the day that Horus fell. Chapter 1. Scion of Terror. Colossi. Rebel Moon. Cyclopean Magnus. Rogel Dawn. Leman Russ. Names that rang with history. Names that shaped history. Her eyes roamed further up the list. Korax. Night Haunter. Angron. And so on. Through a legacy of heroism and conquest. Of worlds reclaimed in the name of the Emperor as part of the ever-expanding Imperium of Man. It thrilled her just to hear the names in her head. But greater than any of them was the name at the top of the list. Horus, the War Master. Lupercal, she heard his soldiers now called him, an affectionate nickname for their beloved commander. It was a name earned in the fires of battle, on Ulanor, on Murder, on 6319. A world the deluded inhabitants had, in their ignorance, known as Terror, and 1,000 other battles she had not yet committed to her mnemonic implants. The thought that she was so very far from the sprawling family estates of Kairos, and would soon set foot on the vengeful spirit to record living history, took her breath away. But she was here to do more than simply record history unfolding. She knew, deep in her soul, that Horus was history. She ran a hand through her long, midnight black hair, swept up in a style considered chic in the Terran court. Not that anyone this far out in space would know. Allowing her fingernails to trace a path down her smooth, unblemished skin. Her olive-skinned features had been carefully moulded by a life of wealth and facial sculpting to be regal and distinguished, with just the fashionable amount of aloofness crafted into the proud sweep of her jawline. Tall and striking, she sat at her maplewood what is that? Escritoire? Don't even know how to say that word. That's a word I've no idea how to say. A maplewood escritoire
A family heirloom her father proudly boasted had been a gift from the Emperor to his great-great-grandmother after the great oath-taking in the Urals. She tapped on her data slate with a gold-tipped memo quill, its reactive nib twitching in response to her excitement. Random words crawled across the softly glowing surface, the quill's organic stem cell crystals picking up the surface thoughts from her frontal lobes. Crusade. Hero. Savior. Destroyer. She smiled and erased the words with a swipe of an elegantly manicured nail. The edge smoothed down to the fractal level and began to write with pronounced, cursive sweeps of the quill. It is with great heart and a solemn sense of honour that I, Petronella Vivar, Palatine and Majoria of the House Carpinus, do pen these words. For many a long year I have journeyed from Terra, enduring many travails and inconveniences. Petronella frowned and quickly erased the words she had written, angry at having copied the unnatural effectiveness that had so infuriated her in the Remembrance's scripts that had been sent back from the leading edge of the Great Crusade. Cinderman's texts in particular irritated her, though of late they had become few and far between. Dion Freyster produced some passable symphonics, nothing that would enjoy more than a day or so of favour in the Terran ballrooms, but pleasing enough, and the landscapes of Keelan Droge were certainly vibrant, but possessed a hyperbole of brushstrokes that she felt was unwarranted. Ignace Carcasey had written some passable poems, but they painted a picture of the Crusade she often thought unflattering to such a wondrous undertaking, especially blood through misunderstanding. And she often asked herself why the War Master allowed him to pen such words. She wondered if, perhaps, the subtext of the poetry went over his head, and then laughed at the thought that anything could get past one such as Horus. She sat back on her chair and placed the quill in the Lethwell as a sudden treacherous doubt gnawed at her. She was so critical of the other Remembrances, but had yet to test her own mettle amongst them. Could she do any better? Could she meet with the greatest hero of the age? A god, some called him, although that was a ridiculous, outmoded concept these days, and achieve what they had, in her opinion, singularly failed to do? Who was she to believe that her paltry skill could do justice to the mighty tales the War Master was forging, hot on the anvil of battle? Then she remembered her lineage, and her posture straightened. Was she not of House Carpinus? Penis? Was she not of House Carpinus? Finest and most influential of the noble houses in Terran aristocracy? Had not House Carpinus chronicled the rise of the Emperor and his domain throughout the wars of unification, watching it grow from a planet-spanning empire to one that was, even now, reaching from one side of the galaxy to the other to reclaim mankind's lost realm? Carpinus. As though seeking further reassurance, Petronella opened a flat blotting folder with a monogrammed leather cover and slid a sheaf of papers from inside it. At the top of the pile was a picked image of a fair-haired Astartes in burnished plate, kneeling before a group of his peers as one of them presented a long, trailing parchment to him. Petronella knew that these were called Oaths of Moment, vows sworn by warriors before battle to pledge their skill and devotion to the coming fight. An intertwined EK device in the corner of the pict identified it as one of Euphrates Keeler's images. And though she was loath to give any of the Remembrances credit, this piece was simply wondrous. Smiling, she slid the pick to one side to reveal a piece of heavy grain cartridge paper beneath. The paper bore the familiar double-headed eagle watermark, representing the union of the mechanicum of Mars and the Emperor. And the script was written in the short, angular strokes of the sigillite's hand, the quick pen strokes and half-finished letters speaking of a man writing in a hurry. The upward slant to the tails of the high letters indicated that he had a great deal on his mind. But why that should be so, now that the Emperor has returned to Terra,
Oi,
she did not know.
I don't like your voice.
Oh shit, I forgot to
Pick a
turn that off.
different one.
Hang on, I forgot to turn that off. That's my fault, that. Should have turned that one off. Shit. Shit, I meant to turn that off, and I didn't. I'm an idiot. Bloody hell. There we go. Right. Sorry. Right. Where was I up to? She smiled as she studied the letter for what must have been the 100th time since she'd left the port at Gyptus, knowing that it represented the highest honour accorded to her family. A shiver of anticipation travelled along her spine as she heard far-distant klaxons, and a distorted automated voice coming from the gold-rimmed speakers in the corridor outside her suite declared that her vessel had entered high anchor around the planet. She had arrived. Petronella pulled a silver sash beside the escritoire, and barely a moment later, the door chime rang, and she smiled, knowing without turning that only Maggard would have answered her summons so quickly. Though he never uttered a word in her presence, nor ever would, thanks to the surgery she'd had the family chaperones administer. She always knew when he was near by the agitated jitter of her memo quill as it reacted to the cold steel bite of his mind. She spun around in her deeply cushioned chair and said, "Open." The door swung smoothly open and she let the moment hang as Maggard waited for permission to stand in her presence. "I give you leave to enter," she said, and watched as her dour bodyguard of 20 years smoothly crossed the threshold into her frescoed suite of gold and scarlet. His every move was controlled and tight,
Never let your dingle dangle dangle
as though
in
his
the dust.
entire body, from the hard, sculpted muscles of his legs to his wide, powerful shoulders, was in tension. He moved to the side as the door shut behind him, his dancing, golden eyes sweeping the vaulted, filigreed ceiling and the adjacent anterooms in a variety of spectra for anything to suspect. He kept one hand on the smooth grip of his pistol, the other on the grip of his gold-bladed Kirillin rapier. His bare arms bore the faint scars of augmetic surgery, pale lines across his dark skin, as did the tissue around his eyes where House Chirurgens had replaced them with expensive biometric spectral enhancers to enable him to better protect the scion of House Carpinus. Yeah, I've turned him down. I've turned him down. Clad in gold armor reflexing rigid bands and silver mail, Maggard nodded in unsmiling acknowledgement that all was clear, though Petronella could have told him that without all his fussing. But since his life was forfeit should anything untoward befall her, he supposed she could understand his caution. "Where is Babeth?" asked Petronella, slipping the sigillite's letter back into the blotter and lifting the memo quill from the Lethwell. She placed the nib on the data slate and cleared her mind, allowing Maggard's thoughts to shape the words his throat could not. frowning as she read what appeared. "She has no business being asleep," said Petronella. "Wake her. I am to be presented to the mightiest hero of the Great Crusade, and I'm not going before him looking as though I've just come from some stupid pilgrim riot on Terra. Fetch her, and have her bring the velveteen gown, the crimson one with the high hollers. I'll expect her within 5 minutes." Maggard nodded and withdrew from her presence, but not before she felt the delicious thrill of excitement as the memo quill twitched in her grip and scratched the last few words on the data slate. "King bitch." In one of the ancient tongues of Terra, its name meant Day of Wrath, and Jonah Arukan knew that name was well deserved. Rearing up before him like some ancient god of a forgotten time, the Dies Irae stood as a vast monument to war and destruction, its armoured head staring proudly over the assembled ground crew that milled around it like worshippers. The Imperator-class Titan represented the pinnacle of the Mechanicum's skill and knowledge, the culmination of millennia of war and military technology. The Titan had no purpose other than to destroy, and had been designed with all the natural affinity for the business of killing that mankind possessed. Like some colossal armoured giant of steel, the Titan stood 43 meters tall on crenellated bastion legs, each one capable of mounting a full company of soldiers and their associated supporting troops. No, it's staying Carpenis. It's staying Carpenis. That's what it is. Carpenis. Jonah watched as a long banner of gold and black was unfurled between the Titan's legs, like the loincloth of some feral savage, emblazoned with the death's head symbol of the Legio Mortis. Scores of curling scrolls, each bearing the name of a glorious victory won by the War Master, were stitched to the honor banner, and Jonah knew that there would be many more added before the Great Crusade was over. Thick, ribbed cables snaked from the shielded power cores in the hangar's ceiling towards the Titan's armored torso, where the mighty war engine's plasma reactor was fed with the power of a caged star. Its adamantine hull was scarred and pitted with the residue of battle, the tech adept still patching it up after the fight against the mega arachnid. Nevertheless, it was a magnificent and humbling sight, though not one that could dull the ache in his head and the churning in his belly from too much amasec the night before. Giant, rumbling cranes suspended from the ceiling lifted massive hoppers of shells and long, snub-nosed missiles into the launch bays of the Titan's weapon mounts. Each gun was the size of a hab block. Massive rotary cannons, long-range howitzers, and a monstrous plasma cannon with the power to level cities. He watched the ordnance crews prep the weapons, feeling the familiar flush of pride and excitement as he made his way towards the Titan, and smiled at the obvious masculine symbolism of a Titan being made ready for war. He jumped as a gurney laden with Vulcan bolter shells sped past him, just barely avoiding him as it negotiated its way at speed through the organized chaos of a ground personnel, Titan crews, and deckhands. It squealed to a halt and the driver's head snapped around.
"Watch where the hell you going, you damn fool!"
shouted the driver, rising from his seat and striding angrily towards him.
"You Titan crewmen think you can swan around like pirates? Well, this is my..."
The words died in the man's throat, and he snapped to attention as he saw the garnet studs and the winged skull emblem on the shoulder boards of Jonah's uniform jacket that marked him as a Moderate Primus of the Dies Irae. Sorry, smiled Jonah, spreading his arms in a gesture of amused apology as he watched the man fight the urge to say more. Didn't see you there, Chief. Got a hell of an hangover. Anyway, what the devil are you doing driving so fast? You could have killed me. You just walked out in front of me, sir, said the man, staring fixedly at a point just over Jonah's shoulder. Did I? Well, just be more careful next time, said Jonah, already walking away. What way are you going? Hissed the man under his breath, before climbing back onto his gurney and driving off. You be careful now, Jonah called after the driver, imagining the colourful insults the man would already be cooking up about those damn Titan crewmen to tell his fellow ground staff. The hangar, though over 2 kilometres in length, felt cramped to Jonah as he made his way towards the Dias Irae. The scent of engine oil, grease and sweat not helping one whit with his hangover. A host of battle titans of the Legio Mortis stood ready for war. Vast, mid-range reavers, snarling warhounds, and the mighty warlords, as well as some newer Night Gaunt-class titans. But none could match the awesome splendour of an Imperator-class titan. The Dias Irae dwarfed them all in size, power, and magnificence. And Jonah knew there was nothing in the galaxy that could stand against such a terrifying war machine. Jonah adjusted his collar and fastened the brass buttons of his jacket, straightening it over his stocky frame before he reached the Titan's wide feet. He ran his hands through his shoulder-length black hair, trying to give the impression, at least, that he hadn't slept in his clothes. He could see the thin, angular form of Titus Cassar, his fellow Moderati Primus, working behind a monitoring terminal, and had no wish to endure another lecture on the 99 virtues of the Emperor. Apparently, smartness of appearance was one of the most important. Good morning, Titus, he said, keeping his tone light. Cassar's head bobbed up in surprise, and he quickly slid a folded pamphlet beneath a sheath of readiness reports. You're late, he said, recovering quickly.
Reveille was an hour ago, and punctuality is a hallmark of the pious men.
Oh, don't start with me, Titus, said Jonah, reaching over and snatching the pamphlet that Cassar had been so quick to conceal. Cassar made to stop him, but Jonah was too quick, brandishing the pamphlet before him. Princess Turnip catches you... Princess... I didn't mean to say Princess Turnip. If Princeps Turnay catches you reading this, you'll be a gunnery servitor before you know what's hit you.
Give it back, Jonah, please.
I'm not in the mood for another sermon from this damn Latitio Divinatus chapbook.
Fine. I'll put it away. Just give it back, all right?
Jonah nodded and held the well-thumbed paper out to Cassar, who snatched it back and quickly slid it inside his uniform jacket. Rubbing his temples with the heels of his palms, Jonah said, Anyway, what's the rush? It's not as though the old girl's even ready for the pre-deployment checks, is she?
I pray you stop referring to it as a she, Jonah. Smacks of pagan anthropomorphizing,
said Cassar. Anthropomorphizing. There we go, said Cassar.
Titan is a war machine. Nothing more. Steel, adamantine and plasma with flesh and blood controlling it.
How can you say that? Asked Araken, sauntering over to a steel-plated leg section and climbing the steps to the arched gates that led within. Slapped his palm on the thick metal and said, I don't know. Oh yeah, there we go. Sauntering over to a steel-plated leg section and climbing the steps to the arched gates that led within. He slapped his palm on the thick metal and said, It's obviously a she, Titus. Look at the shapely legs, the curve of the hips, And doesn't she carry us within her like a mother protecting her unborn children?
In mockery of the seeds of impiety sown,
said Kassar without a trace of irony.
And I will not have it.
Oh, come on, Titus, said Araken, warming to his theme. Don't you feel it when you're inside her? Don't you hear the beat of her heart in the rumble of her reactor? Or feel the fury of her wrath in the roar of the guns? Kassar turned back to the monitoring panel and said,
No, I do not. And I do not wish to hear any more of your foolishness. We're already behind on our pre-deployment checks. Princeps Ternay will have our hides nailed to the hull if we're not ready.
Where is the Princeps? Asked Jonah, suddenly serious.
With the War Council,
said Kassar. Araken nodded and descended the steps of the Titan's foot, joining Kassar at the monitoring station and letting fly with one last jibe. Just because you've never had the chance to enjoy a woman doesn't mean I'm not right. Kassar gave him a withering glare and said,
Enough. The War Council will be done soon, and I'll not have it said that the Legio Mortis wasn't ready to do the Emperor's bidding.
You mean Horus's bidding? Corrected Jonah.
We have been over this before, my friend, said Kassar. Horus's authority comes from the Emperor. We forget that at our peril.
That's as may be, but it's been as many a dark and bloody day since we fought with the Emperor beside us, hasn't it? But hasn't Horus always been there for us on every battlefield?
Indeed he has. And for that, I'd follow him into battle beyond the Halo stars, nodded Kassar. But even the War Master has to answer to the God Emperor.
God Emperor? Hissed Jonah, leaning in close as he saw a number of the ground crew turn their heads towards them. Listen, Titus. You have to stop this God Emperor rubbish. One day you're going to say that to the wrong person, and you're going to get your skull cracked open. Besides, even the Emperor himself says he's not God.
Only the truly divine deny their divinity, said Kassar,
quoting from his book. Jonah raised his hands in surrender and said, All right. Have it your way, Titus, but don't say I didn't warn you.
The righteous have nothing to fear from the wicked, and...
Oh, spare me another lesson on ethics, Titus, sighed Jonah, turning away and watching as a detachment of Imperial Army soldiers marched into the hangar, las rifles on canvas slings hanging from their shoulders. Any word yet on what we're going to be fighting on this rock? Asked Jonah, changing the subject. I hope it's the Greenskins. We still owe them for the destruction of Vulcus Tor on Ulanor. Do you think it'll be the Greenskins? Oh, yes, babe. Cheers. Thanks, babe. Fucking Slam Queen coming in clutch with the brew. Amazing. Oh, that's nice. I needed that. Came in right on time there. What a legend. Oh, that's a good brew, that. That's a fucking good brew, that. Oh, right. Do you think it'll be the Greenskins? Kassar shrugged.
I don't know, Jonah. Does it matter? We fight who we're ordered to fight.
I'd just like to know.
You will know when Princeps Ternay returns, said Kassar. Speaking of which, hadn't you better prepare the command deck for his return?
Jonah nodded, knowing that his fellow Moderati was right, and that he'd wasted enough time in baiting him. Senior Princeps Esau Ternay's reputation as a feared, ruthless warrior was well deserved, and he ran a tight ship on the DSE ray. Titan crews might be permitted more leeway in their behaviour than the common soldiery, but Ternay brooked no such laxity in the crew of his Titan. You're right, Titus. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry, said Kassar, pointing to the gateway in the Titan's leg. Be ready.
Jonah sketched a quick salute and jogged up the steps, leaving Kassar to finish prepping the Titan for refueling. He made his way past embarking soldiers who grumbled as he pushed them aside. Some raised their voices, but upon seeing his uniform, and knowing that their lives might soon depend on him, they quickly silenced their objections. Jonah halted at the entrance to the Titan. taking a second to savour the moment as he stood at the threshold. He tilted his head back and looked up the height of the soaring machine, taking a deep breath as he passed through the tall, eagle and lightning bolt-wreathed gateway and entered the Titan. He was bathed in red light as he entered the cold, hard interior of the Titan and began threading his way through the low-ceilinged corridors with a familiarity born of countless hours, learning the position of every rivet and bolt that held the Dies Irae together. There wasn't a corner of this Titan that Jonah didn't know. Every passageway, every hatch, and every secret the old girl had in her belonged to him. Even Titus and Princeps Tournay didn't know the Dies Irae as well as he did. Reaching the end of a narrow corridor, Jonah approached a thick, iron door guarded by two soldiers in burnished black breastplates over silver mail shirts. Each wore a mask fashioned in the shape of the Legio's death's head and was armed with a short jolt stick and a holstered shock pistol. They tensed as he came into view, but relaxed a fraction as they recognized him. Jonah nodded to the soldiers and said, "Moderati Primus, moving from lower levels to mid-levels." The nearest soldier nodded and indicated a glassy black panel beside the door as the other drew his pistol. Its muzzle was slightly flared, and two silver steel prongs protruded threateningly, sparks of blue light flickering between them. Arcs of light could leap out and sear the flesh from a man's bones in a burst of lightning, but wouldn't dangerously ricochet in the cramped confines of a Titan's interior. Jonah pressed his palm against the panel and waited as the yellow beam scanned his hand. A light above the door flashed green, and the nearest soldier reached over and turned a hatch wheel that opened the door. "Thanks," said Jonah, and passed through, finding himself in one of the screw stairs that climbed the inside of the Titan's leg. The narrow iron mesh stairs curled around the thick fibre bundle muscles and throbbing power cables reefed in a shimmering energy field. But Jonah paid them no mind,
Who's this midnight pleaser?
too intent on his roiling stomach as he climbed the hot, stuffy stairs. He had to pause to catch his breath halfway up and wiped a hand across his sweaty brow before reaching the next level. This high up, the air was cooler as powerful recyc units dispersed the heat generated by the venting of plasma gases from the reactor. Hooded adepts of the Mechanicum tended to flickering control panels as they carefully built up the plasma levels in the reactor. Crewmen passed him along the cramped confines of the Titan's interior, saluting as they passed him. Good men crewed the Dies Irae. They had to be good. Princeps Tournay would never have picked them otherwise. All the men and women on board the Titan had been chosen personally for their expertise and dedication. Eventually, Jonah reached the Moderati chambers in the heart of the Titan and slid his authenticator into the slot beside the door. "Moderati Primus Jonah Aruken," he said. The lock mechanism clicked, and with a chime, the door slid open. Inside was a brilliant domed chamber with curving walls of shining metal and half a dozen openings spaced evenly throughout the ceiling. Jonah stood in the center of the room and said, "Command bridge, Moderati Primus Jonah Aruken." The floor beneath him shimmered and rippled like mercury, a perfectly circular disc of mirror-like metal forming beneath his feet and lifting him from the ground. The thin disc climbed into the air, and Jonah rose through a hole in the ceiling, passing along the transport tube towards the summit of the Titan. The walls of the tube glowed with their own inner light, and Jonah stifled a yawn as the silver disc came to a halt, and he emerged onto the command deck. The interior of the Dies Irae's head section was wide and flat, with recessed bays in the floor to either side of the main gangway, where hooded adepts and servitors interfaced directly with the deep core functions of the colossal machine. "And how is everyone this fine morning?" he asked no one in particular. "Ready to take the fight to the heathens once more?" As usual, no one answered him, and Jonas shook his head with a smile as he made his way to the front of the bridge, already feeling his hangover receding at the thought of meshing with the command interface. 3 padded chairs occupied a raised dais before the glowing green tactical viewer, each with thick bundles of insulated cables trailing from the arms and headrests. He slid past the central chair, that of Princeps Tournay, and sat into the chair to the right, sliding into the comfortable groove he'd worn into the creaking leather over the years. "Adepts," he said. "Link me." Red-robed adepts of the Mechanicum appeared, one on either side of him, their movements slow and in perfect concert with one another, and slotted fine microcellular gauntlets over his hands, the inner mnemonic surfaces meshing with his skin and registering his vital signs. Another adept lowered a silver lattice of encephalographic sensors onto his head, and the touch of the cool metal against his skin was a welcome sensation.
"Hold still, Moderati,"
said the adept behind him, his voice dull and lifeless.
"The cortical dendrites are ready to deploy."
Jonah heard the hiss of the neck clamps as they slid from the side of the headrest, and, from the corners of his eyes, he could see slithering slivers of metal emerging from the clamps. He braced himself for the momentary pain of connection as they slid across his cheek like silver worms reaching towards his eyes. Then he could see them fully. Incredibly fine silver wires, each no thicker than a human hair, yet capable of carrying vast amounts of information. The clamps gripped his head firmly as the silver wires descended and penetrated the corners of his eyes, worming down past his optic nerve and into his brain, where they finally interfaced directly with his cerebral cortex. He grunted as the momentary icy pain of connection passed through his brain, but relaxed as he felt the body of the Titan become one with his own. Information flooded through him, the cortical dendrites filtering it through the portions of his brain that normally went unused, allowing him to feel every part of the gigantic machine as though it was an extension of his own flesh. Within microseconds, the post-hypnotic implants in the subconscious portions of his brain were already running the pre-deployment checks, and the insides of his eyeballs lit up with telemetry data, weapon readiness, status, fuel levels, and a million other nuggets of information that would allow him to command this beautiful, wonderful Titan.
"How do you feel?"
asked the adept, and Jonah laughed. "It's good to be king," he said. As the first pinpricks of light flared in the sky, Akshub knew that history had come to her world. She gripped her fetish-hung staff tightly in her clawed hand, knowing that a moment in time had dawned that mankind would never forget, heralding a day when the gods themselves would step from myth and legend to hammer out the future in blood and fire. She had waited for this day since the great warriors from the sky had brought word of the sacred task appointed to her when she was little more than a babe in arms. As the great red orb of the sun rose in the north, hot, dry winds brought the sour fragrance of bitter blossoms from the tomb-littered valleys of long-dead emperors. Standing high in the mountains, she watched this day of days unfold below her, tears of rapture spilling down her wrinkled cheeks from her black, oval eyes, as the pinpricks of light became fiery trails streaking across the clouds towards the ground. Below her, great herds of horned beasts trekked across the verdant savannah, sweeping towards their watering holes in the south before the day grew too hot for them to move and the swift, razor-fanged predators emerged from their rocky burrows. Flocks of wide-pinioned birds wheeled over the highest peaks of the mountains above her, their cries raucous yet musical as this momentous day grew older. All the multitudinous varieties of life carried on in their usual ways, oblivious to the fact that events that would change the fate of the galaxy were soon to unfold on this unremarkable world. On this day of days, only she truly appreciated it. All right, Gorkrush, I'll see you in a bit. The first wave of drop pods landed around the central massif at exactly 16:04 Zulu time. The screaming jets of their retros bringing them in on fiery pillars as they breached the lower atmosphere. Stormbirds followed, like dangerously graceful birds of prey swooping in on some hapless victim. Black and scorched by the heat of re-entry, the 30 drop pods sent up great clouds of dust and earth from their impacts, the wide doors opening with percussive booms and clanging down on the step. 300 warriors in thick plate armor swiftly disembarked from the drop pods and fanned out with mechanical precision, quickly linking up with other squads and forming a defensive perimeter around an unremarkable patch of ground in the center of their landing pattern. Stormbirds circled above in overlapping racetrack patterns, as though daring anything to approach. At some unseen signal, the Stormbirds broke formation and rose into the sky as the boxy form of a Thunderhawk descended from the clouds, his belly blackened and trailing blue-white contrails. The larger craft surrounded the smaller one, like mother hens protecting a chick, escorting it to the surface, where it landed in a billowing cloud of red dust. The Stormbirds screamed away on prescribed patrol circuits as the forward ramp of the Thunderhawk groaned open, the hiss of pressurized air gusting from within. 10 warriors clad in the comb-crested helms and shimmering plate armor of the Sons of Horus marched from the gunship, cloaks of many colors billowing at their shoulders. Each carried a golden bolter across his chest, and their heads turned from left to right as they searched for threats. Behind them came a living god, his armor gleaming gold and ocean green, with a cloak of regal purple framing him perfectly. A single carved red eye stared out from his breastplate, and a wreath of laurels sat upon his perfect brow.
Davin, sighed Horus. I never thought I'd see this place again.
Big H is back. The end of chapter 1. Oh! The wife's in the chat. Cheers for the brew, babe. It's Horus. It's Big H. He's back. Horus is here.
Terror Trooper, it is true. Slam Queen does make the best brews. To be fair, though, I make a good brew, but the Slam Queen's brews are better than mine.
Steve Morris. Steve Morris. Well, better not call it that. Steven Seagal there. Still, yeah. Just watching, isn't he? Horus is a flamboyant man fit for New Orleans. Are you reading along going, yeah?
Amazing.
How do you think you say that word that I couldn't say? What was it? Escritoire. Escritoire. Was it? Was it an escritoire? Was it escritoire? Can't remember. Don't know where it is. Escritoire. 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 Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Escritoire. That's what I think it says. I've, like... Who the fuck knows?
Who the fuck cares? Excretory.
Excretory? No, there's definitely not that.
Excretory from the car penis. I've read this book before, but I can't remember that word.
The old Ascrit. Excretoire. Excretoire. Excretory.
Okay. Chapter 2. You bleed. A good war. Until the galaxy burns. A time to listen. Mercedes Ollerton forced herself to watch the blade stab towards Loken, knowing that this strike must surely end his life. But, as always, he swayed aside from the lethal sweep with a speed that belied his massive Astartes frame, and raised his sword in time to block yet another stabbing cut. A heavy cudgel looped down at his head, but he had obviously anticipated the blow and ducked away as it slashed over him. The armatures of the practice cage clattered as the weapons swung, stabbed, and slashed through the air, mindlessly seeking to dismember the massive Astartes warrior who fought within. Loken grunted, his hard, muscled body shining with a gleaming glare of sweat as a blade scored his upper arm, and Mercedes winced as a thin line of blood ran from his bicep. As far as she could remember, it was the first time she had ever seen him wounded in the practice cage. The smirking blonde giant, Cedere, and Loken's friend Vipus had long ago left the training halls, leaving her alone with the captain of the 10th Company. Flattered as she was that he'd asked her to watch him train, she soon found herself wishing that he would finish this punishing ritual so that they could talk about what had happened on Davin and the events that now led them to war on its moon. Sitting on the cold iron benches outside the practice cages, she had already blink-clicked more images to store in her memory coils than she would ever need. Moreover, if she was honest, the sheer obsessiveness of Loken's desperate sparring was somehow unsettling. She had watched him spar before, but it had always been an adjunct to their normal discussions, never the focus. Napita Kera. Welcome, Napita Kera. Welcome to the channel. Big love. Thank you for the follow. We're reading False Gods by Graham McNeill tonight. We're on chapter 2, just started chapter 2. This was something else. It was as though the captain of the Lunar Wolves... No, not the Lunar Wolves, she reminded herself. The Sons of Horus. As Loken deflected yet another slashing blade, she checked her internal chronometer again and knew that she would have to leave soon. Carcasi wouldn't wait, his prodigious appetite outweighing any notion of courtesy towards her, and he would head for the Iterators' luncheon in the ship's staterooms without her. There would be copious amounts of free wine there, and despite Ignace's newfound dedication to the cause of remembrance, she didn't relish the thought of such a smorgasbord of alcohol landing in his path again. She pushed thoughts of Carcasi aside as the hissing mechanical hemispheres of the sparring cage withdrew and a bell began chiming. Loken stepped from the cage, his fair hair, longer than she had seen it before, plastered to his scalp, and his lightly freckled face flushed with exertion. "You're hurt," she said, passing him a towel from the bench. He looked down, as though unaware of the wound.
It's nothing,
he said. wiping away the already clotted blood. His breathing came in short bursts, and she tried to mask her surprise. To see an Astartes out of breath was utterly alien to her. How long had he been training before she arrived in the halls? Loken wiped the sweat from his face and upper body as he made his way to his personal arming chamber. Mercedes followed him and, as usual, could not help but admire the sheer physical perfection of his enhanced physique. The ancient tribes of the Olympian hegemony were said to have called such specimens of physical perfection Adonian, and the word fit Loken like a masterfully crafted suit of Mark IV plate. Almost without thinking, Mercedes blink-clicked the image of his body.
"You're staring,"
said Loken, without turning. Momentarily flustered, she said, "Sorry, I didn't mean..." He laughed.
"I'm teasing. I don't mind. If I'm to be remembered, I'd like it to be when I was at my peak, rather than a toothless old man drooling into my gruel."
"I didn't realize Astartes aged," she replied, regaining her composure. Loken shrugged, picking up a carved vambrace and a polishing cloth.
"I don't know if we do either. None of us have ever lived long enough to find out."
Her sense for things unsaid told her that she could use this angle in a chapter of her remembrances, if he would talk more on the subject. The melancholy of the immortal, or the paradox of an ageless being caught in the flux of a constantly changing time, struggling flies in the clotting amber of history. She realized she was getting ahead of herself and asked, "Does that bother you, not getting old? Is there some part that wants to?"
"Why would I want to get old?"
asked Loken, opening his tin of lapping powder and applying it to the vambrace, its new colour, a pale greenish-hued metallic still unfamiliar to her.
"Do you?"
"No," he admitted, unconsciously reaching up to touch the smooth black skin of her hairless augmetic scalp. "No, I don't. To be honest, it scares me. Does it scare you?"
"No. I've told you, I'm not built to feel like that. I'm powerful now, strong. Why would I want to change that?"
"I don't know. I thought that if you aged, maybe you'd be able to, retire one day. Once the Crusade's over, I mean."
"Over?"
"Yeah. Once the fighting's done and the Emperor's realm is restored." Loken didn't answer immediately, instead continuing to polish his armor. He was about to ask the question again when he said,
"I don't know if it'll ever be over, Mercedes. Since I joined the Mournival, I've spoken to a number of people who seem to think we'll never finish the Great Unification. Or if we do, that it won't last."
She laughed. "Sounds like you've been spending too much time with Ignace. Has his poetry taken a turn for the maudlin again?" Loken shook his head.
"No."
"Then what is it? What makes you think like this? Those books you've been borrowing from Cinderman?"
"No,"
repeated Loken, his pale grey eyes darkening at the mention of the venerable primary iterator, and she sensed that he would not be drawn any further on the subject. Instead, she stored this conversation away for another time, one when he might be more forthcoming on these uncharacteristically gloomy thoughts. She decided to ask another question and steer the conversation in a more upbeat direction, when a looming shadow fell over the pair of them, and she turned to see the massive, slab-like form of First Captain Abaddon towering over her. As usual, his long hair was pulled up in its silver-sheathed topknot, the rest of his scalp shaved bare. The captain of the first company of the Sons of Horus was dressed in a simple sparring fatigues and carried a monstrous sword with a toothed edge. He glared disapprovingly at Mercedes. "First Captain Abaddon," she began, bowing her head before he cut her off.
"You bleed,"
said Abaddon, and took Loken's arm in his powerful grip, the sonorous tone of his voice only accentuating his massive bulk.
"The sparring machine drew Astartes' blood."
Loken glanced at the bulging muscle where the blade had cut across the black, double-headed eagle tattoo there.
Yes, Ezekiel. It was a long session and I was getting tired. It's nothing.
Abaddon grunted and said,
You're getting soft, Loken. Perhaps if you spent more time in the company of warriors, rather than troublesome poets and inquisitive scriveners, you'd be less inclined to such tiredness.
Perhaps, agreed Loken, and Mercedes could sense the crackling tension between the two Astartes. Abaddon nodded curtly to Loken and gave her a last, barbed glance before turning away to the sparring cages, his sword buzzing into throaty life. Mercedes watched Loken's eyes as they followed Abaddon and saw something she never expected to see there. Wariness. What was all that about? She asked. Did it have anything to do with what's happened on Davin? Loken shrugged.
I can't say.
Abaddon. Owen, you don't like Abaddon at all, do you? You don't like Abaddon at all, do you? Look, Owen. Napita Kira. Yeah, join our Discord. Please do. Owen, nah, man, I'm telling you, he's in on this. I can feel it. Right, don't read ahead in the book. Don't read ahead in the book. Don't spoil it for yourself. Don't spoil it for yourself.
Well, we know that Erebus is up to something.
We know that Erebus is up to something. Because Erebus is the one that we know that he had that knife. Or sword or blade, whatever it is, that anathane blade. We know that he had that. We didn't see him steal it. So he might not have stole it, or he might have stole it. We don't know, but we know that he has it. So Erebus is definitely to do with that blade getting stolen. Why did he steal that blade? Just that blade. Why? Why? Davin. The melancholy ruins scattered throughout its deserts told of its once civilized nature. But the anarchy of old night had destroyed whatever society had once prospered many centuries before. Now Davin was a feral world swept by hot, arid winds and baking under the baleful red eye of a sun. It had been 6 decades since Loken had last set foot on Davin. Though back then, it had been known as 63-8, being the 8th world brought into compliance by the 63rd Expeditionary Force. Compliance had not improved it much in his opinion. Its surface was hard, baked clay clumped with scrubby vegetation and forests of tall, powerfully scented trees. Habitation was limited to primitive townships along the fertile river valleys, though there were many nomadic tribes that made their lonely way across the mighty, serpent-infested deserts. Loken well remembered the battles they fought to bring this world into compliance. Short, sharp conflicts with the autochthonic warrior castes who made war upon one another, and whose internecine conflicts had almost wiped them out. Though outnumbered and hopelessly outclassed, they had fought with great courage before offering their surrender after doing all that honor demanded. The Lunar Wolves had been impressed by their courage and willingness to accept the new order of their society, and the commander, not yet the War Master, had decreed that his warriors could learn much from these brave opponents. Though the tribesmen were separated from the human genome by millennia of isolation, and shared few physical traits with the settlers that came after the Astartes, Horus had allowed the feral tribesmen to remain, in light of their enthusiastic embracing of the imperial way of life. Iterators and remembrances had not yet become an official part of the Crusade fleets, but the civilians and scholars who hung on the coattails of the expeditionary forces moved amongst the populace and promulgated the glory and truth of the Imperium. They had been welcomed with open arms, thanks largely to the dutiful work undertaken by the chaplains of the 17th Legion, the Word Bearers, in the wake of the conquest. It had been a good war, won rapidly and, for the Lunar Wolves, bloodlessly. The defeated foe was brought into compliance quickly and efficiently, allowing the commander to leave Cor Pharaon of the Word Bearers to complete the task of bringing the light of truth and enlightenment to Davin. Yes, it had been a good war, or so he had thought. Sweat trickled down the back of his head and ran down the inside of his armor, its greenish metallic sheen still new and startling to him, even though it had been months since he had repainted it. He could have left the job to one of the Legion's many artificers, but had known on some bone-deep level that he must look to his battle gear himself, and thus had painstakingly repainted each armor segment single-handedly. He missed the pristine gleam of his white plate, but the War Master had decreed that the new colour be adopted to accompany the Legion's new name, the Sons of Horus. Loken remembered the cheers and the cries of adoration laid at the feet of the War Master as his announcement had spread through the expedition. Fists punched the air and throats were shouted hoarse with jubilation. Loken had joined in with the rest of his friends, but a ripple of unease had passed through him upon hearing his beloved Legion's new name. Torgadon, ever the joker, had noticed the momentary shadow pass over his face and said, "What's the matter? You wanted it to be the Sons of Loken?" Loken had smiled and said,
No. It's just...
Just what? Don't we deserve this? Hasn't the commander earned this honour?
Of course, Tariq,
nodded Loken, shouting to be heard over the deafening roar of the Legion's cheers.
More than anyone, he's earned it. But don't you think the name carries a whiff of self-aggrandizement to it?
Self-aggrandizement? Laughed Torgadon. Those remembrances that follow you around like whipped dogs must be teaching you new words. Come on, enjoy this and don't be such a starch ass.
Tariq's enthusiasm had been contagious, and Loken had found himself once again cheering until his throat was raw. He could almost feel that rawness again as he took a deep breath of the sour, acrid winds of Davin that blew from the far north, wishing he could be anywhere else right now. It was not a world without beauty, but Loken did not like Davin, though he could not say what exactly bothered him about it. A sour unease had settled in his belly on the journey from Zenobia to Davin, but he'd pushed it from his thoughts as he marched ahead of the commander onto the planet's surface. To someone from the nightmarish industrial caverns of Chthonia, Loken could not deny that Davin's wide-open spaces were intoxicatingly beautiful. To the west of them, soaring mountain peaks seemed to scrape the stars, and further north, Loken knew that there were valleys that plumbed the very depths of the earth, and fantastical tombs of ancient kings. Yes, they had waged a good war on Davin. Why, then, had the Word-Bearers brought them here again? Some hours before, on the bridge of the Vengeful Spirit, Malagurst had activated the data slate he held in his twisted claw of a hand, the skin fused and wet pink despite the best efforts of the Legion apothecaries to restore it. He'd scanned the contents of the communique within the slate once more, angry at the turn of phrase used by the petitioner. He did not relish the prospect of showing the message to the War Master and briefly wondered if he could ignore it or pretend the missive had never come before him. But Malagurst had not risen to become the War Master's equerry by insulating him from bad news. He sighed. These days, the words of bland administrators carried the weight of the Emperor, and, as much as Malagurst wanted to, he could not ignore this message in particular. The War Master would never agree to it, but Malagurst had to tell him. In a moment of weakness, Malagurst turned and limped across the strategium deck towards the War Master's sanctum chamber. He would leave the slate on the War Master's table, for him to find in his own time. The sanctum doors slid smoothly aside, revealing the dark and peaceful interior. Excuse me. Malagurst enjoyed the solitude of the sanctum, the coolness of the air easing the pain of his raw skin and twisted spine. The only sound that broke the stillness of the sanctum was the breath rasping in his throat, the abnormal rearward curvature of his spine placing undue pressure on his lungs. Master Gwen, with the follow, big love. Thank you so much. Welcome to the channel. We are currently reading False Gods by Graham McNeill. We're on chapter 2, I believe. Excuse me, pardon my French. Malagurst shuffled painfully along the length of the smooth-surfaced oval table, reaching out to place the slate at its head, where the War Master sat. It has been too long since the Mournival gathered here, thought Malagurst.
Evening, Mal,
said a voice from the shadows, somber and tired. Malagurst turned in surprise towards the source of the voice, dropping the slate to the table, ready to rebuke whoever had seen fit to violate the War Master's sanctum. A shape resolved out of the darkness, and he relaxed as he saw the familiar features of the commander, eerily red-lit from below by the light of his gorget. Fully armoured in his battle plate, the War Master sat at the back of the darkened sanctum, his elbows resting on his knees and his head held in his hands.
My lord, said Malagurst, is everything all right?
Horus stared at the terrazzo-tiled floor of the sanctum and rubbed the heels of his palms across his shaved skull. His noble, tanned face and wide-spaced eyes were deep in shadow, and Malagurst waited patiently for the War Master's answer.
I don't know anymore, Mal,
said Horus. Malagurst felt a shiver travel down his ruined spine at the War Master's words. Surely he had misheard. To imagine that the War Master did not know something was inconceivable.
Do you trust me?
asked Horus suddenly.
Of course, sir,
answered Malagurst without pause.
Then what do you leave here for me that you don't dare bring to me directly?
asked Horus, moving to the table and lifting the fallen data slate. Malagurst hesitated.
Another burden you do not need, my lord. A remembrancer from Terra. One with friends in high places, it would seem. The Sigillite, for one.
Petronella Vivar of House Carpinus,
said Horus, reading the contents of the slate.
I know of her family. Her ancestors chronicled my father's rise, back in the days before unification.
What she demands,
spat Malagurst,
is ridiculous.
Is it, Malagurst? Am I so insignificant that I don't require remembrance?
Malagurst was shocked.
sir? What are you talking about? You are the War Master, chosen by the Emperor, beloved by all to be his regent in this great endeavor. The remembrances of this fleet may record every fact they witness, but without you, they are nothing. Without you, all of it is meaningless. You are above all men.
Above all men, chuckled Horus. I like the sound of that. All I've ever wanted to do was to lead this crusade to victory and complete the work my father left me.
You're an example to us all, sir, said Malagurst proudly.
I suppose that's all a man can hope for during his lifetime, nodded Horus. To set an example, and when he is dead, to be an inspiration for history. Perhaps she will help me with that noble ideal.
Dead? You're a god amongst men, sir. Immortal, beloved by all.
I know,
shouted Horus, and Malagurst recoiled before his sudden volcanic rage.
Surely the Emperor would not have created such a being as me, with the ability to grasp the infinite, to exist only for this short span. You're right, Mal. You and Erebus both. My father made me for immortality, and the galaxy should know of me. 10,000 years from now, I want my name to be known across all the heavens.
Malagurst nodded, the War Master's furious conviction intoxicating, and dropped painfully to one knee in supplication.
What would you have me do, my lord?
Tell this Petronella Vivar that she may have her audience, but it must be now,
said Horus, his fearsome outburst quite forgotten.
And tell her that if she impresses me, I will allow her to be my personal documentarist for as long as she desires it.
Are you sure about this, sir?
I am, my friend, smiled Horus. Now, up, off your knees. I know it pains you.
Horus helped Malagurst rise to his feet and gently placed his armored gauntlet on his equerry's shoulder.
Will you follow me, Mal?
asked the War Master.
No matter what occurs.
You are my lord and master, sir, swore Malagurst. I will follow you until the galaxy burns and the stars themselves go out.
That is all I ask, my friend, smiled Horus. Now, let's get ready to see what Erebus has to say for himself. Davin, eh? Who'd have thought we'd ever be back here?
Fucking Horus, what was that about? Yo, what was that about, man? Horus is losing his shit. Like, what's going on there? Yeah, Malagurst has a voice like that because if you remember right at the beginning of the first book, he was in a Thunderhawk gunship, a dropship that was going down to that planet at the beginning. 6319, I think it was. And he got shot down. He got shot down and blown to fucking pieces. So they fixed him a bit, but he's still all fucked up. Like, he's got like a fucked up arm that they've like tried to grow him a new arm, basically. All his spine's fucked up. He can't fucking walk properly.
So I do his voice through gritted teeth because it's like he's all fucked up. Do you know what I mean? And it hurts him to even talk. And
I try and give him a voice that makes him sound like he's always in pain. Because that's what I imagine him to be like. Because he's alive, but he's fucked. But he's also a space marine. He's also an Astartes. So his body can take a lot of damage. But it doesn't mean he's not suffering. You know what I mean? He's still suffering. In my Well, yeah. I mean, Horus just said to him, "Get up off your knees, Mal. I know it pains you." You know what I mean? After his little completely out of character outburst. What's that about? What's that about, eh? And Peter Kira, I love how you can voice them well. I just like doing voices. Like, my voice is a bit shredded at the moment because I've been ill, like, the whole fucking, like, of last week. So I can still feel it a little bit in my throat from, like, all the coughing and shit. I, like, pretty much lost my voice towards the end of, like, last week. Did a Baldur's Gate stream and I, like, sounded like I'd been gargling fucking glass all day, like. Oh, I'm getting much better now, thanks, Napita Kira. I hope you get better soon as well. I hope you feel much better too. Xenowolf. Oh, you missed Horus. Have a little bit of a meltdown. Have a little bit of a meltdown. Didn't he? Like, completely out of character, like, outburst. But you gotta remember though, Horus is the War Master, and the amount of shit that's put on his shoulders. Do you know what I mean? The stress of that. Because the Emperor's basically just fucked off and gone, right, I'm going back home now. Alright, son. You're in charge of everything. You're in charge of the whole war effort. The whole galaxy-wide war effort. Everything. All 18 legions. You're in charge of them all. So if your brothers need anything, any of the other Primarchs need anything, they'll come to you, yeah? And also, the High Council of Terror, they're going to be asking you for shit as well. So you're going to have to deal with all that. So everything's your responsibility now. I'm buggering off back to Terror. Because I've got some shit to do. So you're in charge now. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you can understand why. I think it's like, oh, all right, fair enough. Like, you've just had a little bit stressed. I get that. Like, do you know what I mean? I understand why you're stressed out, Horus. Right, I just need a quick wee. I'll be 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Oh, piss and shit. I have returned. There we go. Whoa. Right. Okay. Bit on the vape. Thank you very much. Right, here we go. Let's continue. 2 hours after making planetfall on Davin, the communication from Erebus of the Wordbearers that had brought the 63rd expedition to Davin had spoken of an old tally, the settling of a dispute, but had said nothing of its cause or participants. After the carnage on Murder and the desperate extraction from the Extranus, Loken had expected a war zone of unremitting ferocity. But this war zone, if it indeed could be called that, was deathly quiet, hot, and peaceful. He didn't know whether to be disappointed or relieved. Horus had come to the same conclusion not long after they had landed, sniffing the air of Davin with a look of recognition.
There is no war here, he had said.
No war?
Abaddon had asked.
How can you tell?
You learn, Ezekiel, said Horus. The smell of burnt meat and metal, the fear and the blood. There is none of that on this world.
Then why are we here?
Asked Aximand, reaching up to lift his plumed helmet clear of his head.
It would seem we are here because we have been summoned,
replied Horus, his tone darkening. And Loken had not liked the sound of the word summoned coming from the War Master's lips. Who would dare to summon the War Master? The answer had come when a column of dust grew on the eastern horizon, and 8 boxy, tracked vehicles rumbled across the steppe towards them. Shadowed by the stormbirds that had flown in with the War Master, the dark, brushed steel vehicles trailed guidons from their Vox antenna, emblazoned with the heraldry of an Astartes legion. From the lead rhino, a great devotional trophy rack stood proud of the armored glacis, hung with golden eagles and books, and sporting jagged lightning bolts picked out in lapis lazuli.
Erebus,
spat Loken.
Hold your tongue,
warned Horus as the rhinos had drawn closer.
Let me do the talking.
Bizarrely, the yurt smelled of apples. Although Ignis Carcasi could see no fruit in any of the carved wooden trays, just heaped cuts of meat that looked a little on the raw side for his Epicurean palate. He could swear he smelled apples. He glanced around the interior of the yurt, wondering if perhaps there was some local brew of cider on offer. A hairy-faced local with impenetrable black eyes had already offered him a shallow bowl of the local liquor, a foul-looking brew that smelled like curdled milk. But after catching a pointed glance from Euphrates Keeler, he'd politely declined. Like the drink, the yurt was crude, but had a primitive majesty to it that appealed to the romantic in him, though he was savvy enough to know that primitive was all very well and good unless you had to live there. Perhaps 100 people filled the yurt, army officers, strategium adepts, and a few remembrances, scribes, and military aides. All come for the commander's war council. Casting his gaze around the smoky interior, Carcasi had seen that he was in illustrious company indeed. Hector Vavarus, Lord Commander of the army, stood next to a hunched Astartes giant, swathed in cream-coloured robes, who Carcasi knew must be the War Master's equerry, Malagurst. An unsmiling figure in the black uniform of a Titan commander stood to attention at the forefront of the gathering, and Carcasi recognized the jowly features of Princeps Esau Ternay, commander of the Imperator Titan, Dies Irae. Ternay's Titan had led the armada of enormous battle machines into the heart of the mega-arachnid territory on Murder, and had earned the Legio Mortis the lion's share of the glory. Carcasi remembered the huge Titan that towered over the architectural presentation that Peter Egan Momus had given back on 6319, and shivered. Even motionless, it had provoked an intense reaction in him, and the thought of such an incredible destructive power being unleashed didn't bear thinking about. The hissing collection of silver struts and whirling cogs that encased scraps of flesh in vaguely humanoid form must be the Mechanicum Adept, Regulus. and Carcasey saw enough brass and medals hanging from puffed-out uniform chests to equip a battalion. Despite the presence of such luminaries, Carcasey found himself stifling a yawn as he and the rest of the audience listened to the Davinite Lodgemaster, Cyrek, performing an elaborate chant in the local tongue. As interesting as it had been to see the bizarre, almost human locals, Carcasey knew that simply bearing witness to this interminable ceremony of welcome couldn't be the reason why Captain Loken had authorized his presence at the War Council. A bland-faced iterator named Yelton translated the Lodge Priest's speech into Imperial Gothic, the precisely modulated timbre of his voice carrying the words to the very edges of the yurt. Say what you like about the iterators, thought Carcasey. They can certainly enunciate to the back row.
How much longer is this going to go on for?
Whispered Euphrates Keeler, leaning towards him. Dressed in her ubiquitous combat fatigues, chunky army boots, and tight white vest top, Keeler looked every inch the spunky frontierswoman.
When is the War Master going to get here?
No idea, said Ignace, sneaking a look down her cleavage. A thin silver chain hung around her neck. Whatever was hanging on it, hidden beneath the fabric of her top.
My face is up here, Ignace,
said Euphrates.
I know, my dear Euphrates, he said, but I'm terribly bored now, and this view is much more to my liking. Give it up, Ignace. It's never going to happen.
He shrugged.
I know, but it is a pleasant fiction, my dear, and the sheer impossibility of a quest is no reason to abandon it.
She smiled, and Ignace knew that he was probably a little in love with Euphrates Keeler, though the time since the Xenobeast had attacked her in the Whisperheads had been hard for her. And to be honest, he was surprised to see her here. She'd lost weight and wore her blonde hair scraped back in a tight ponytail, still beautifully feminine despite her best attempts to disguise the fact. He'd once written an epic poem for the Marchioness Zorian Delacouille, one of the supposed great beauties of the Terran Court, a despicable commission that he'd loathed, but one that paid handsomely. But her beauty was artificial and hollow compared to the vitality he now saw in Keeler's face, like someone born anew. Well out of his league, he knew, what with his generously proportioned physique, hangdog eyes, and plain, round face, but his looks had never deterred Ignace Carcasey from attempting to seduce beautiful women. Just made it more of a challenge. He had made some conquest by riding the adulation of his earlier work, Reflections and Odes, garnering him several notable carnal tales, while other, more easily impressed members of the opposite sex had been seduced by his witty badinage. He already knew that Euphrates Keeler was too smart to fall for such obvious flattery and contented himself with counting her simply as a friend. He smiled as he realized that he didn't think he'd ever had a woman as a friend before.
To answer your question seriously, my dear, he said, I hope the War Master will be here soon. My mouth's as dry as a Talon sandal, and I could use a bloody drink.
Ignace, said Euphrates.
Oh, spare us from those of moral fibre, he said. Didn't mean anything alcoholic. Though I could fair sink a bottle of that swill they drank on 6319 right about now.
Thought you hated that wine, said Keeler. You said it was tragic.
Yes. But when you've been reduced to drinking the same vintage for months, it's surprising what you'll be willing to drink for a change.
She smiled, placing her hand over whatever lay at the end of her chain around her neck, and said, I'll pray for you, Ignace. He felt a flicker of surprise at her choice of words, and then saw an expression of rapt adoration settle over her as she raised her picture at something behind him. He turned to see the door flap of the yurt pushed aside and the massive bulk of an Astartes duck down as he entered. Carcasey did a slow double take as he saw the warrior's shining plate armor was not that of the sons of Horus, but was the carved granite grey of the Word Bearers. The warrior carried a staff crowned with a book draped in oath paper. over which wound a long sash of purple cloth. He had his helmet tucked into the crook of his arm and seemed surprised to see all the remembrances there. Carcasey could see that the Astarte's wide-featured face was earnest and serious, his skull shaved and covered with intricate script work. One shoulder guard of his armor was draped in heavy parchment, rich with illuminated letters, while the other bore the distinctive icon of a book with a flame burning in its center. Though he knew it symbolized enlightenment springing forth from the word, Carcasey instinctively disliked it. It spoke to his poet's soul of the death of knowledge, a terrible time in history of ancient terror when madmen and demagogues burned books, libraries, and wordsmiths for fear of the ideas that they might spread with their artistry. By Carcasey's way of thinking, such symbols belonged to heathens and Philistines, not Astartes charged with expanding the frontiers of knowledge, progress, and enlightenment. He smiled to himself at this delicious heresy, wondering if he could work it into a poem without Captain Loken realizing. But even as the rebellious thought surfaced, he quashed it. Carcasey knew that his patron was showing his work to the increasingly reclusive Kirill Sinderman. For all his dreariness, Sinderman was no fool when it came to the medium, and he would surely spot any risque references. In that case, Carcasey would quickly find himself on the next bulk haul on its way back to Terra, regardless of his Astartes sponsorship.
So, who's that?
Asked Keeler, returning his attention to the new arrival as Cyrek stopped his chanting and bowed towards the newcomer. The warrior, in turn, raised his long staff in greeting. Keeler gave a sidelong glance, looking at him as though he had suddenly sprouted another head.
Are you serious?
She hissed.
Never more so, my dear. Who is he?
That, she said proudly, snapping off another pict of the Astartes warrior, is Erebus, first chaplain of the Word Bearers. And suddenly, with complete clarity, Ignis Carcasey knew why Captain Loken had wanted him here. Stepping onto the dusty hardpan of Davin, Carcasey had been reminded of the oppressive heat of 6319. Moving clear of the prop wash of the shuttle's atmospheric rotors, he'd half run, half stumbled from beneath its deafening roar, with his exquisitely tailored robes flapping around him. Captain Loken had been waiting for him, resplendent in his armor of pale green and apparently untroubled by the heat of the swirling vortices of dust.
Thank you for coming at such short notice, Ignis.
Not at all, sir, said Carcasey, shouting over the noise of the shuttle's engines as it lifted off the ground. I'm honoured, and not a little surprised, if I'm honest.
Don't be. I told you I wanted someone familiar with the truth, didn't I?
Yes, sir. Indeed you did, sir, beamed Carcasey. That's why I'm here now?
In a manner of speaking,
agreed Loken.
You're an inveterate talker, Ignis. But today, I need you to listen. Do you understand me?
I think so. What do you want me to listen to?
Not what, but who.
Very well. Who do you want me to listen to?
Someone I don't trust,
said Loken. That is the end of chapter 2, and we will leave it there. Someone I don't trust. And as soon as Carcasey knew who Erebus was, he knew what Loken meant when he said that. So Loken doesn't trust Erebus then. But we know that Erebus has got that blade. That cursed blade. From the first book. We know that. So Loken doesn't trust him. But obviously doesn't know why. He just doesn't trust him. There's just something about him that Loken's wary of. And it also seems that there's a bit of tension between Loken and Abaddon as well. But we don't know what that's about. But Mercedes Ollerton said, was it something to do with what happened on Davin? And obviously this is what's happened on Davin. Whatever's about to happen. So we know that. Yeah, that's what we know. But we'll leave it there though, because it's nearly 9:30. I don't want to. I'm just at the end of chapter 2 there, so we can pick it up next week at the beginning of chapter 3. But yeah, this book is fucking sick. Like, there's shit that happens in this book that is fucking well good. Oh, God. Oh, don't know whether the microphone picked that up. Did you hear that then? Did you hear my elbows and that crack then? I did. Yeah, so I know we're only early, but what's your thoughts? Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what you're thinking. What are you thinking about what's happened in these 2 chapters? I know it's only early. So we've got new characters. So we've got Jonah, who's one of the Titan pilots. Because if you remember in the first book, that Titan was in that first book, but it was only in the background. It was the giant fucking huge, like, mech that was stood in the background when Carcasi went out and got shit-faced that time and then got beat up by those soldiers. He kept saying how he kept looking at, like, up at the sky and seeing this giant Titan, and it was scaring the shit out of him, and it weren't even moving. That's that Titan, the Dies Irae. So now we actually know one of the pilots of it, so we've been introduced to him. Fake back. My youngest is on Roblox playing Yeet a Friend and is absolutely delighted to be throwing you around. Amazing. Amazing. Owen, I'm just thinking about that massive outburst from Horus. Chaka's saying, yeah, something very sus about that Horus outburst. No, Owen, Ignis isn't an Astartes. He's a Remembrancer. He's just a human. What do you think? What are you thinking about that Horus outburst? Because all I'm saying is, think about the responsibility and the pressure that's been put on him by the Emperor. I don't blame him for having a bit of a meltdown, considering he just keeps it together all the time. Do you know what I mean? He does keep it together all the time. I'm just saying. Like... I think it's more about what he said in the outburst. Say about me, the man's got a crack at some point. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Peter Kara thinks it's interesting. It is interesting. It is interesting. It gets way better as well. Jack is happy. Garvey Loken's still there. Oh yeah, Loken's the boy, isn't he? He's there. Xenowolf, rather delighted with what I've heard so far. Don't enjoy reading, but I'm thinking of perhaps getting a copy. Yeah, do it. It's called False Gods, and it's by Graham McNeill.
You should get it. Owen's got it, and I think Leeds J picked it up as well. So they were reading along. I know Owen was. What's Owen saying? I don't know what I'm thinking currently, but he's been War Master for a good long while. To go into the depths of despair and then rage in a private moment is mental. Yeah. But yeah, Jacket, it just seems a bit weird. He kind of liked that people should adore him. Owen, also the talk of death, immortality, and in my head, it felt like he was putting himself above the Emperor in his own head.
All I'm trying to do.
Holy shit. Holy shit. Above the Emperor. Fucking hell. It's like, I'm not surprised by the outburst, because like I said, I could totally get why he would be like majorly stressed out. But it's like you said, it's what he said in the outburst. Is that what he really thinks, or is he just angry and stressed? Or is that the truth of what he feels? Does he feel like he should be adored? Does he feel like he deserves credit and adoration and shit? Owen, it certainly seemed like it to me, and as you said, Big Daddy M's kind of fucked off and said, yeah, you're in charge now. That is literally what he did, though, and didn't even tell him why. Didn't even tell him what he was doing. He was just like, yeah, I'm going now. I'm going back to Terra. I've got shit to do. Oh, why? What shit have you got to do? Don't matter. Basically, that's it. It's like you didn't even tell Horus what it was that you were doing. So all Horus knows is that the Emperor's gone to Terra to do something, to do some work, and he's left Horus in charge of the Great Crusade. So Horus is like in charge of all of the Imperium's galaxy-wide military efforts, and the Sigillite, Malcador the Sigillite, and the Council of Terror, who are all human, are in charge of like the admin of the Imperium. So this is another thing that Horus is constantly getting, is fucking demands for him to start taxing these new worlds that they've brought into compliance, that they've brought into the Imperium. And Horus is like, you can't ask for taxes now. We've just bombed the shit out of these people. They've surrendered to us. We're trying to bring them into compliance, and you're asking them for like fucking 40 or 50% of their resources. He's like, you can't do that. Why are you doing this to me? Like, do you know what I mean? And this is a galaxy-wide thing as well. It's not just like a couple of planets. You're talking like hundreds, thousands, maybe millions of worlds at this point. So I get why he's stressed. And then he's got all these brothers asking for help. And they're coming to him for advice on military shit. Well, not all of them, because some of them, like the Lion, would never ask for help. But like some of his brothers are asking for help, and then the only one who seems to be supporting him was fucking Sanguinius, who turned up and like, shown him support and love and didn't ask him for anything. And then this other geezer, Erebus, who's been sent by Lorgar, as Lorgar's one of Horus's brothers. He's the Primarch of the Word Bearers. And this guy, Erebus, has suddenly managed to work his way into Horus's inner circle. But Loken doesn't trust him, but can't put his finger on why. Bakeback, the truth tends to come out in our angriest monologues. That's true. That's true. That is true. Owen's just had a thought. All the Primarchs have their own special unique ability or blessing bestowed onto them by the Emperor. What is Horus's? Horus is incredibly charismatic. Incredibly charismatic. He has the presence and the charisma from the Emperor, basically. As well as obviously being a fucking demigod, basically. Effectively. Like, in size and speed and power and intelligence and resilience. Like, do you know what I mean? He has all of that. But his charisma. He is, like, crazy charismatic and crazy clever. Like, not like clever in like a... I mean, he is clever, he is intelligent, but I mean, like, he's clever, like, you know what I mean?
What's that
like,
bumhole? Open this bumhole now.
Like, socially clever. Shit like that. And he has a presence to him as well. That's very reminiscent of his father. Do you know what I mean? Like, if he just walks in a room, you'd be like, do you know? if you get what I mean, which is like what it's like when the Emperor's somewhere. It's like standing in front of the sun. Like, do you know what I mean? Chaka, I got a question. Are they born and grow up? Or yes, yep, they were all children. The Primarchs, I'm assuming you're talking about. The Emperor's sons. All the Primarchs were children at one point. They grew, they aged and grew to adulthood very quickly, though. But they were all children. They were created from the Emperor's DNA. He created them. I don't want to give away too much, but he created them from his own DNA. And that's why they all have some semblance of a gift from him. They're born with it, Fakeback. They're born with these gifts. It's like, it's just something that was in the Emperor's DNA. But yeah, like they all have like different abilities and shit from the Emperor, basically. Shit that the Emperor is able to do. No, not something they have to grow into. No, not really. Were they in a womb? I don't want to give away too much. All I will say is that the Emperor created them from his DNA. Because I don't want to give away too much.
Because you'll find out in this. Owen, I just think it's cool as fuck that Sanguinius has a pair of fucking wings. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so sick. He's a literal angel. Like, they call him the angel. Like, Sanguinius, man. I love Sanguinius so much. Properly love Sanguinius. He's fucking amazing. He's the best. He's the best of all of them. Sanguinius. The best of all of them. But yeah, there's 18 of the Primarchs at the moment. There was 20. But two of them were expunged from all records and their names wiped from history. So we have no idea who they were or what they did for that to happen. We don't know.
Like, still we don't know. Like, even in Warhammer 40k, we don't know. That's 10,000 years after all this shit. We don't know who they were. They were 20, and at this point in the Heresy, there's only 18. Nosset, I smell betrayal coming. Yeah, but from who, though?
From who? From where? And why? Like...
You know what I mean? Fake back. You love Sanguinius's name. Makes him sound like he should be wielding his own blood as a weapon. Well, his legion were named after him. The Blood Angels. That's what his Space Marine Legion is called. And they all wear red armor. We met some of them. Oh, no. No, we didn't. Yeah, we did. We met some of them in the first book. And they wear all red armor. The Blood Angels. Sanguinius's Blood Angels. Because he is the Blood Angel, isn't he? They're so cool, the Blood Angels, as well. Like, they're so cool. There's so much shit that the Blood Angels have to deal with. Like, it's fucking mental, but we'll get to all that eventually.
Hey, Shadow.
Owen's been going into the lore videos on YouTube, but it's a proper minefield because you got to be careful about spoilers. Yeah, you do. If you're going into the fucking YouTube lore videos, they are amazing, but you will find out like shit, because obviously, especially in Warhammer 40k, all this has already happened 10,000 years ago. Like this, what we're reading through now. This is 10,000 years before Warhammer 40k. So this is history, basically, at the age of Warhammer 40k. So you will come across spoilers, so be careful. Jacko, thank you for getting us into this stuff, Slam King. I really appreciate it. Oh, good. I'm glad you're all enjoying it. I'm glad you're all enjoying it. Nosset, the dude that's hiding artifacts. Erebus. Erebus, man. Erebus. Well, he's got that blade, hasn't he? So he's definitely involved. Hey, nurse, it's all Gale's fault. Shadow, how many kids do you have in your basement right now? I've got... Hang on. Got that one up there. That one up there off Mortal Kombat. And I've got that one sitting on my... sitting on my radiator. Got those two. And then I've got my real mini-me's upstairs in bed, probably. I'm assuming. It's 20 to 10, so I'm assuming they're in bed. Wait back, you should Google about Suitengu. He's kind of what Sanguinius is like in my head. Ah, right, okay. Let me have a look. Hang on, how do you spell that? Suitengu. Oh, is he an anime character? Do you know what? That guy looks more like Fulgrim. That guy looks more like Fulgrim. So, hang on. I can show you what Sanguinius looks like. Show you what Fulgrim looks like as well. Gotta be careful what I show you here. I have to be careful. Okay, right, that's an alright picture.
Okay. So, 1 minute. There you go. Oh, shit. 1 minute. So, hang on. There we go. Here we go. So this is Fulgrim. So this is another one of Horus's brothers. There we go. That's Fulgrim. That's Fulgrim.
Dangle in the dust.
So he's the Primarch of the Emperor's Children. And there's Sanguinius. That is Sanguinius. That's Sanguinius. Look at him. Look at him. My beautiful feathered boy. Yeah, that's Sanguinius. He looks amazing, doesn't he? And that's him. That's Sanguinius. And that is Fulgrim. So they're the two of Horus's brothers that are closest to him. Like, Sanguinius is the closest. Sanguinius is like Horus's best friend, basically. It's his closest brother. The one that he loves above all of his other brothers. And then Fulgrim is like his second closest. But yeah, there he is. He's the only one with wings. Jay's just got flashbanged. Jason, 2 screens over here. Heavy Metal Nerds, we need Steagle stickers. I'll see what I can do. See if the merch store does stickers. I'll have a look. A loving picture of John Lennon. Fulgrim looked a bit underwhelming. Yeah. Bro, what fucking laundry detergent do you guys use and wash this shit 3 times and it still smells like your stuff? I've no idea. No idea. Lenore, I think. Lenore or Surf. Something like that. A good old British detergent, innit? Do you know what I mean?
Right. Guys, I'm going to hit the hay. And then tomorrow I'm going to try and see if I can figure out why the heists isn't working. But I will figure it out. I'll get to the goddamn bottom of this. Well, my name isn't Nicholas Case. I'm on the case. Yeah. There's a heist command that like lets you guys like enter into like a robbery to like earn bum eggs. But I just can't. I don't know why it's not working, so maybe I just have to fiddle about with it for a little bit. Maybe there'll be something that I've done wrong on this. So, I'll figure it out, though. I'll figure it out. Jacka, I'm expecting you to turn up Friday in Copenhagen to see Suffocation, by the way. Yeah. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Right. I am going to go, though. But thank you for hanging out with me. congratulations to Jennings for winning the old dog boy. So we'll get that on his way to his new home ASAP. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with me as always. It's always a pleasure. I appreciate you all so much. Cheers for the subs and the gift subs. That shit fucking helps out massively, so I appreciate the love. Please do, if you're new to the channel, please do join our Discord, because we've got an amazing community of people. You can tell from the chat, like, everyone's so lovely, and you'd be more than welcome there. Everyone has a right laugh in there, like 24/7. So join our Discord if you haven't already. If someone wants to throw the Discord link in the chat, that would be amazing. But I will speak to you all in said Discord, and I'll be back on tomorrow. There's the Discord link. Cheers, Nosset. And I'll be back on tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. UK time, and we'll catch up with
Paul Queechy and the gang. See what they're up to in the big city of Baldur's Gate.
So that should be fun. All right. Peace and love, you beautiful Queechlings. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. Massive love. Mwah. Good night.